Hi guys, my name's Bill. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot the turbo boil burner on a glass top Frigidaire stove. Okay, so here's a look at our large turbo boil burner. It's the left front, so what we're going to troubleshoot is the burner switch and the burner itself. Okay, so how this burner works is there are two sets of windings inside here. There's actually two heating elements in one, and that's how it gets hotter much quicker than just a standard full-size burner. What I'm going to do is unplug the secondary windings and turn this on high, and what you're going to see are about 4 rings of red, and that's basically a standard large burner. Now if I plug in the secondary windings, the secondary coils, you'll see that the red will start to fill in, and that's going to produce much quicker heat than just a standard burner. Alright, so here's a look at the burner without the glass, and we have 2 orange wires here, and we have 2 wires in the center, and these are the secondaries that I was unplugging earlier. And you can see we have 4 connections to the windings. Now these 2 outside terminals go to the bigger set of windings for like a standard large burner, and then these 2 inside terminals fill in all the gaps with a little bit smaller set of windings. Now when they work together, they produce much more heat and much quicker heat, and that's why it's a turbo boil burner. So now let me show you how to test these. So this is the switch to our turbo boil burner, and when you turn this on low, only the primary windings are going to be activated. The secondary windings don't come in until you reach 5. So once you hit 5, then the whole burner lights up. But when you're below 5, only the primaries. I'm going to remove the switch so I can show you the wiring on the back and show you how it works. So behind the knob there's 2 screws. I'll go ahead and take those out. And just remember, before you do any work on this, to unplug the stove from the wall. You definitely don't want to do this while it's plugged in. Once you have the 2 screws out, the burner comes out of the back. Alright, so let's go over some of the wiring on the switch here. So if we turn this around to the back, every switch is going to have 240 volts coming in. And that's the black with a little bit of red, and this red with a little bit of black. That's the 2 power wires coming in. Now for your standard primary windings, you have these 2 orange wires that come off, and they go straight to the burner. You also have this white wire that goes straight to the burner. Now what controls the secondary windings is from this white wire to this other color wire is off of one of the lines in. We have this red wire that goes over to a switch that's bolted onto the front of a standard burner switch. And this is what allows the secondary windings to only come on when you reach 5. So right now this switch would be closed, and the current would travel through this red, back out on this blue, and down to the burner and let the secondaries come on. But when you're below 5, then this switch is open, and only the primary windings, or these orange wires, are the only ones that will have power coming out. Alright, so now that you have an idea how the burner works, let me show you how to troubleshoot it if you have a burner that doesn't heat up. Alright, so the first thing you want to check when you have a burner that doesn't light up is to make sure you have the proper power coming in. But if all your other burners are working and the oven works, and you only have one burner that doesn't work, it's pretty safe to assume that you have the proper voltage. So without removing the top or anything like that, if you take the back off the stove, you can easily check the burners. So we'll start with the primary windings first, and that's going to be these 2 orange wires. And we have our meter set to ohms. So if we clip on the 2 orange wires, you should get a resistance reading. And it looks like we get about 26 ohms. And that's for the bigger set of windings. Now for the secondaries, that's going to be these white wires, this white wire here, and on the other side of our switch here we have the red that comes in, only turns on when you're at 5 or above, and comes out on blue, which then connects to the other burner wire for the secondaries. So we'll just clip onto this blue, and we get almost 50 ohms of resistance. Now, if you check the primaries or the secondaries and you get an out of limits or open circuit reading like this, then the burner's bad and would need replaced. If your burner's not heating up and you get 2 resistance readings for the primaries and the secondaries, then your switch is bad. And you'd have to replace the switch. Alright, so if you do have a bad burner, let me show you how to take it off and put a new one on. And just a heat of caution here, make sure you get somebody to help you out. You're going to need an extra hand. It's a little tricky to try to do it by yourself, so just make sure when you go to replace the burner, have somebody standing by so they can help you out a little bit, and you'll see why. So what holds the top down are 2 screws under the front ledge here. And they're going to be the 2 screws that are closest to the front. There's going to be 3 other ones, but they hold a metal plate in. You want to remove only 2, and they're the closest to the cavity of the oven here, and you'll see them. I'm going to take those out and we'll go from there. Alright, so once you get the 2 screws out from the front, the whole top's going to lift up, and then you can see all your burners. Now again, make sure the stove's unplugged from the wall before you do any kind of repairs. And these 2 braces hold all the burners. They just push the burners against the glass. The burners don't attach to the glass. Each one of these braces has a screw on each end. So this is where the extra set of hands is going to come in handy. So we're going to replace this burner right here, so we need to remove this bracket. And when you take this bracket off, both these burners are just going to come down. So the easiest thing to do is get yourself a box or something. If you have to do this by yourself, stick it right under the center to hold that brace up against the glass, and get yourself a stubby little screwdriver. Some are Phillips head, some are 1/4 inch. This one here's a 1/4 inch. So once you have something holding that up, now you can reach in and take the 2 screws out to hold the brace in place. So there's one. Okay, so I got the second screw out. Now you can see the brace didn't move. So now what we want to do is get the box out of the way. And we're going to reuse it. Like that. Now we can work on replacing this burner. These burners just sit in place on top of this bracket with these little pins. There's a couple different mounting options for different burners. You want to make sure you mark the holes where the burner is, and you want to do that on both sides. There's one over here and there's one on the other side. So just mark these before you lift the burner up out of that little slot. And here's the little tab on the other side. This is a real good time to take out your cell phone and take some pictures of the wiring to this burner before you disconnect everything, because you have 6 wires that have to go back in pretty much the same spot. So right now you want to make a note of these, or just take a picture so you can reference it later when you have the new burner. Okay, so to pull these clips out from the bottom of this bracket, once you have all the wiring unplugged from the burner, there's a little tab that you want to squeeze in as you're lifting up on the burner so it can go through the slot. It kind of locks in place, so you have to squeeze the tab in, which is going to be a little bit difficult, and it will pop out just like that. And once you get the one from the other side, you can get the burner out. Okay, so now that you have the burner out, your 2 little clips on the bottom are going to go, they have to be in a certain spot. There's one on each side, and they're all numbered, so just make sure that you put these in the same number on the new burner, or the ring won't line up with the ring on the glass. When it might get red hot to the left or to the right, so you definitely want to make sure that these are lined up. And one other word of caution here is these are real brittle on the outside, so when your new burner, Try to be real careful not to touch this because it'll crumble and fall apart, and you definitely don't want to touch the element inside. It's all very fragile. Alright, so let's install the new burner. Now let's plug it in and test it out. Go ahead and turn our burner on high. And I'm going to cut the lights out. And we can see that the entire element is heating up. So everything looks good. Okay guys, so there's a real simple video on how to troubleshoot the turbo boil burner on a Frigidaire smooth top stove. So if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that now. And thanks for watching.